Welcome into WTOL 11 News at 6. Hope you're having a great holiday weekend so far. It is going to be feeling chillier as we head towards Easter Sunday, and that infamous lake breeze is going to make for a cooler setting. There could be a couple of isolated showers as well, but much of the day will feature dry conditions. Temperature-wise, we are still hanging on to 60 degrees, but if you look west and north, mid-50s in Hillsdale, and same goes for Williams County. There are a couple lingering sprinkles to the south of the Toledo metro, but overall the heaviest of the rain and storms in the rearview mirror. Still some ongoing thunderstorms near Cincinnati and in central and southern Ohio. Stretching over towards Pennsylvania, there is the risk for a couple stronger to even severe storms. Our hour-by-hour forecast actually clears out the sky a bit tonight, so you may see a little bit of Easter morning sunshine, but there is going to be a cooler east breeze off the lake and some additional afternoon showers. I'm going to preview the return of some warmer spring conditions coming up in your full forecast. Michael?
All right, John, we'll see you then. We continue to follow a developing story we first brought you this morning as breaking news. The house where 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue's body was found last month is now demolished after a fire broke out there this morning. Sophia Periconi has the latest.
The site of a horrific crime in East Toledo is now a pile of rubble. On Saturday morning, Toledo Fire and Rescue worked the flames at 1101 Miami Street, the abandoned home where 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue's body was found on March 28th. She had been reported missing just a week before. According to court documents, her father, Darnell Jones Ogletree, confessed to killing her at the now destroyed home.
My reaction was just like, wow.
Toledo Fire tackled the flames from the outside. Since the home was a code red, crews couldn't attack from the inside. Officials said it was too unstable. Ronche Allison was near the home Saturday morning, caring for the memorial set up in Kei'mani's honor, when she saw smoke.
The cross and stuff was knocked over, so me and my husband, we picked that up. And like I said, when we came around and I seen smoke, and I was like, wow, something's on fire.
Just hours later, an excavator was brought in to finish what the fire started. The home now completely demolished. The city of Toledo said it planned to demolish the house at some point, pending the investigation. The home was declared a nuisance just 2 days after Kei'mani's body was found there.
Mixed feelings, mixed emotions. Happy to see it come down, but also prayerfully that everything that was needed, that was out of there.
In a statement to WTOL 11, the city said in part, quote, per EPA requirements, debris from the demolition will need to remain on the property for several days before it can be removed. We want to assure the community that the memorial items placed in Kei'mani's honor were not impacted by the fire and will not be impacted by the demolition. We know this is an emotional moment for many, and we are grateful for the care this community has shown in honoring Kei'mani.
I'm praying that justice will prevail for her, and then all of our babies that's been affected by this, and then, that all of our babies begin to have a voice.
In East Toledo, Sophia Periconi, WTOL 11.
The cause of the fire is still being investigated. We'll keep you updated on air and online once we learn more. You can find the full statement from the city over on our website at WTOL.com. And we have an update on the man accused of killing Kei'mani Latigue, her own father. Darnell Jones Ogletree faced a judge for the first time today. While he didn't speak about the crime in court, police say he confessed during questioning. According to court documents, Jones told detectives he dragged Kei'mani to a vacant home on Miami Street and killed her with a bladed weapon. The judge set bond at $4 million. He is due back in court next week. And we'll continue to track new developments in the murder of Kei'mani Latigue. You can stream our full conversation with 11 Investigates right now on WTOL 11+. It's an in-depth discussion about the investigation, including full interviews and a full breakdown of the case so far. You can download WTOL 11+ on your TV and watch it for free. Heading into the Easter holiday, a Toledo church is dealing with a traumatic accident that killed a parishioner and injured one of its pastors. According to a Facebook post from Northwest Baptist Church, church pastor Andrew Edwards is recovering in the hospital right now. He was driving a vehicle that was struck by a large tree, crushing the vehicle and killing 35-year-old Richard Miller. Funeral arrangements have been announced for Miller. A church service will be held at its Alexis Road location next Saturday at 10 in the morning. U.S. Senator John Husted has been a member of Congress for only 12 weeks, but says the last 2+ months have been a wake-up call. WTOL 11 sat down with the senator this week in his hometown of Montpelier in an exclusive interview, discussing tariffs, entitlements, and Ohio's growing influence in D.C. But for someone who is part of a team responsible for balancing a state budget year after year, seeing how Washington operates, theirs has been an eye-opener.
The Democrats think if we keep spending, we'll force them to raise taxes. The Republicans think we'll keep cutting taxes and force them to cut spending. And in Washington, no one ever blinks because they don't have to balance the budget.
WTOL 11's full exclusive interview is available right now on WTOL 11 Plus and WTOL11.com. And you can hear more this weekend on Leading Edge Sunday morning at 8:30. The construction on Summit Street from Cherry Street to Jackson continues today. Drivers are being asked by the city to be even more flexible. Crews are installing new streetlights and planters. The contractors are also upgrading sidewalks, curbs, and building median islands at 4 separate intersections. But the city says don't get too comfortable with what you see out there because things could change quickly.
There could be some partial lane closures for a day or so if the contractor has to do something just in that area. So it would be a temporary lane closure.
For now, cars will continue driving 1 lane in each direction over the MLK Jr. Bridge. We're told the cone should be gone by July 1st. Now let's get things over to meteorologist John Birchfield.
I'll grab the jacket for Easter Sunday. It is going to be a chilly feeling day, especially in the Toledo metro with that infamous lake breeze. That's going to make for temperatures only in the 40s, but I do suspect a much warmer day to the south of the Maumee River. Now, right now it is a little bit breezy. Winds are actually coming in from the west, but those will be shifting to the east as that lake breeze sets up tomorrow. Temperatures were mild and humid early in the day, 60 degrees in the Toledo metro, and we've got mid-50s to the west and northwest of Toledo. Still a few spotty showers mainly south of the river. Locations like Putnam and Hancock counties are seeing some sprinkles, but the rainfall has lightened up considerably, and there's still some ongoing thunderstorm activity in the southeastern part of the Buckeye State. So the hour-by-hour forecast is going to pinpoint likely dry conditions tonight. And as we fast forward the clock into your Easter Sunday, I do actually expect a good deal of early day sunshine. That east breeze, though, is going to make for a cooler feel, especially in the Toledo metro. There will be some light on and off showers possible during the afternoon, but I think more widespread rain is going to hold off until Monday morning ahead of our next cold front. That front is going to come knocking on our doorstep, and Monday is actually going to be very mild ahead of the front and turning cooler late in the day with temperatures dropping from the 70s down into the 50s. Easter Sunday, though, is going to be a chilly day. Highs around 49 degrees with a 30% chance for a few rain showers. Waking up for those Easter egg hunts and morning services, temperatures are expected to be in the low to mid 40s, and afternoon highs vary vastly depending on where you live. If you live towards Putnam and Hancock counties, could come close to 60 degrees. Same goes for Wyandotte and even Seneca. However, in the Toledo metro, likely to be around a 49-degree day, and near the lake shore, temperatures actually could be in the lower 40s, so a significant north to south gradient as a result of that easterly lake breeze. You can plan on a little bit of early day sunshine. That'll be a nice treat waking up and heading out the door for your Easter Sunday. Into the afternoon, more clouds in the sky and a slight chance for afternoon rain showers. Next couple of days featuring some big ups and downs in the temperature department. A very mild feel for your Monday. Morning showers ahead of that next cold front, and temperatures will be briefly dropping late in the day Monday. We do level out to the 60s Tuesday and another warm up back into the mid 70s Wednesday. And overall, that signals a shift towards a milder weather pattern late month. In fact, most of the United States is expected to be above average through the tail end of April. That extended forecast does bring some warmer days ahead. There will be additional showers possible Thursday and into early Friday. Next weekend looks pretty comfortable with temperatures in the mid 60s, lows in the 40s, and overall a slight warm up back to 70 degrees by the end of your 10-day forecast. Michael?
All right, John, thanks. That's a forecast I can get behind. Well, April marks Donate for Life Month. More than 90,000 people nationwide are waiting on a kidney transplant, but you may not realize that thousands of donor kidneys are discarded every year because they don't meet standards. Bradley Blackburn explains how a new technique could help more patients get a life-saving gift.
When Vanel Laguerre's kidneys started failing, the 73-year-old father and grandfather needed a transplant, but he refused to accept one from his son.
I say, you're too young. You have 2 babies. Live your life.
With diabetes and high blood pressure, doctors told him he'd be unlikely to survive a years-long wait for a new kidney.
Between 4 and 7 years or more.
And the reality is, he was going to be at the very bottom of the waiting list.
Mount Sinai transplant surgeon Dr. Matt Holzner says one reason the waiting list is so long is because many donor kidneys are unable to be used. They may not meet quality standards or find a match within a tight window of less than 24 hours.
There's a huge number of people who need a kidney, and we're throwing out almost 9,000 kidneys every year that are recovered for transplant.
But Mount Sinai is part of a trial with a company called 34 Lives that's developed a procedure pumping a warm oxygenated solution into a donated kidney, keeping it viable for much longer to allow for more thorough testing.
With that additional assessment, we can help decide if the kidney is going to be good enough for transplant. This technology will help us try to rescue those kidneys that are otherwise going to get thrown out.
Because of this trial, a kidney from a Kentucky donor that might have been discarded matched with Vanel.
Couldn't believe it.
Nearly a year later, he has his health and more time with his family.
If something happened to you, offer an organ. Whatever it is. Because I got one. Yeah.
Thanks to a new approach that still only works when someone else gives. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And staying in the world of health news, studies show that having an affectionate mother does more than just boost a child's mental health. Kids with affectionate moms have a greater educational achievement, economic success, and health throughout their lives. The study even found that amongst twins, the twin who received more warmth from their mother was more open and agreeable as an adult. So, if you have a normal childhood, thank your mom. Well, being the victim of a disaster like flooding or a wildfire can have a long-term effect on cognitive function. A study showed that survivors of so-called climate trauma and found victims had prolonged symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression. The victims also experienced greater difficulty making decisions. And a new study finds young women who are binge drinking at higher rates than young men. The research highlights a big shift in the past. Young men tended to binge drink more. The reasons for the change aren't clear, but among adults 25 and older, men still binge drink at a higher rate than women. Now let's get things off to sports with Chase Bachman.
When we return, we're up in Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Wolverines' annual spring game. We've got the recap coming up next in sports. Welcome back. Last week, Noel Blumel was down in Columbus. Welcome back. Last week, Noel Blumel was down in Columbus for Ohio State's annual spring game. This week, we're up in Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Wolverines' annual spring game. We got our first look at Michigan football since their bowl game at the end of December. There was an estimated 40 to 45,000 people at the Big House to watch the Wolverines play. One player everyone wanted to get a look at was Bryce Underwood. He was the #1 high school football player in America in the class of 2025. And Saturday, he was the quarterback leading the blue team to a 16-0 shutout win. Underwood's teammates and coaches know he's a special athlete and gives them a chance to make a big jump from last year's 6-6 season.
Did well, made some really good throws and had some things that we got to clean up and get better at, but he's a continued work in progress, and he's working his tail off to do it. Thought overall as a team, played well, a couple penalties that we got to clean up on both sides, but, all in all, I just wanted to see everybody have fun, injury-free football game, and that's what we got accomplished. The work ethic, he told me, he's a night owl, and that's true, so I try to get him to sleep more, but because he's in the building a lot, and he's doing a lot to get better, so. But he's, and nothing surprised me in the way he carries himself. It's been awesome to have him around.
I felt very good about where the team's at. It was a very physical spring ball. Really focused on just getting back to the basics, executing discipline. And then, like I said before, just when you're time to make a play, you got to make a play. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of the game of football. So I'm really feel good about where the team's at right now.
Even when you're on the field, but it's when you're outside of the field, when you're walking around, when you're talking to them, when you're playing basketball, shooting hoops, eating. There's something about the kid, and that's who we recruit here. We recruit guys instead of players, and it just so happens he's an amazing athlete and player, but the guys we have in our locker room that's what's more important. And to be around a guy that gives back, who loves his teammates, who puts his team over himself, you couldn't ask for anything better.
That's going to do it from Ann Arbor. Be sure to follow WTOL 11 for all the latest in local sports news.
Welcome back in. Downtown Toledo will continue to get a little brighter in the coming weeks. Local artist Dean Davis announced earlier today that a new mural will be painted on the corner of North St. Clair and Madison Streets. This mural, known as the Toledo mural, has a simple and vibrant appearance, as David puts it, and it's just Toledo and frogs. The Toledo mural is the first of a mural series Davis has been working on with multiple organizations, anticipating many more projects throughout the year.
I have one with Art Tatum that's actually right across the street as well. You know, being on the corner of Madison and Superior right now, we're going to have one that's going to be on the welcome mat on Washington. So when you come in off 75, you're going to see this big vibrant color mural as well. So we're going to really splash some color this year at Toledo's campus.
Davis will begin the Toledo mural project in just a few weeks. And Toledoans got a chance to learn more about their local Metro Parks while staying indoors. Held in the Toledo-Lucas County Main Library, Metro Parks Toledo invited the community to take part in some of the activities that the parks offer inside. Activities like tree and rock climbing, archery, outdoor crafts, and other immersive activities for kids. Now, this is a fun way to bring the parks to those in a more urban setting, and it's good for rainy days like today.
We get a little bit of rain, and luckily you're able to come inside, still experience a little bit of adventure. We also have things aimed at kids here. We have s'mores, we've got a kids zone with blocks and different activities.
The Metro Parks visit is one of the library's many scheduled takeovers, and it ended at 4 p.m., so unfortunately you missed it today. What do you think, John? You think we could get away with shooting bow and arrows inside the station?
Probably not. That's a lot of fun, though. The rock climbing, definitely up my alley. S'mores inside. Just be careful with all those books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of staying indoors, we had a bit of a wet day today.
Yeah.
We have more of that on the way?
Well, most of the rain's now in the rearview mirror, so we're expecting mainly dry weather tonight through Easter morning. It's actually going to be sunny when you wake up first thing Easter Sunday, so that'll be a nice treat. But the afternoon turning overcast with a cooler lake breeze. Temperatures are only going to be in the upper 40s in the Toledo Metro, but it is going to be considerably milder to the south and southwest, and overall a warming trend in that 10-day forecast that'll lift those temperatures up into the 70s. And I know, Michael, last weekend you were asking about those 70s. Finally looking and feeling like spring there.
Wish granted, finally happening. All right, looks like it's about to be t-shirt weather here soon, everybody. All right, well, we'll see you again coming up tonight at 11. Take care.
Well, a cooler breeze Easter Sunday is going to make for a chilly day in the Toledo Metro, but warmer to the south. Will we see any additional rain chances? I have the answer tonight at 11. Chilly feeling conditions ahead for your Easter Sunday. Temperatures in the 40s in the Toledo Metro and warmer to the south. Your full 10-day forecast coming up tonight at 11.
All righty.